Hello, friends. Hello.
Hello, friends.
Hey, Miles. Let's see. How you doing? Good.
Hello.
Hey, listen, Miles.
Hello, friends.
Hey, needs to go right now, okay?
Let's see. How you doing? Good. Hello.
Hey, listen, Miles.
Hello, friends.
Hey, needs to go right now, okay?
Let's see. How you doing?
Hail, hail. Connecting to your audio.
Hello.
I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared for that shirt.
Oh, I'll just have to turn this around then, won't I?
There we go. Welcome, welcome.
Let me see.
I see.
Forward. Okay.
This is with us. That's nice. Welcome, Reggie, to I don't know, Culinary Arts, the first episode here on here at First Press.
Well, thank you. Are you all live already?
We are live. We are.
Oh, well, you're going to see me gathering more things.
Oh dear.
And on that note, you all keep talking. Let me say, I have my chicken here. I'm going to get my paprika, onion powder.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see if I can see how many people are viewing. We're already up to 5. So welcome to Culinary Arts. We're about 9 minutes early. So I am going to go ahead and share with you just a little bit of introduction.
Oh, we can wait a little bit.
Oh no, I'm just gonna play a little bit of this here interview.
Oh Lord, okay.
Well, you know, once you put it out on the internet, there's no controlling how it goes. So, of course, this assumes I know how to share a screen. So.
Oh well.
So we'll see how this goes.
I went to get paprika and I didn't get that. Onion powder.
All right, so let's see here.
And for the right price, I will get my big self up a big old flight of stairs, a platform, and I will put that grain of a mustard seed faith to work. And I say, Lord, if you brought me to it, you'll bring me through it. Hey! And you know, and that's how I feel about heights. I mean, if he brought me to it, he'll bring me through it. Or at least bring me through some good workers' comp. So, you know, amen. Amen. That's that. Is the outcome income? The outcome is always income. Because if the outcome's not income, you won't find Reggie there. Unless we're doing it for the Lord. And, you know, we'll sing at church. We'll do it for a few family members, a few, and you know who you are. family members. But under the outcome has to be income, or you won't find Reggie there. I'll be happy and smiling. Well, check. What quality impresses you most in another person? Kindness. Being a good person truly impresses me. I'm not impressed by your money. I'm not impressed by your big words. I'm not impressed by your degrees because, well, I have those things, as Leontine Price said. But what you can't teach is being a good person and having a good sense of humor. But yeah, if you're not a quality person, I don't have time for it. So. Equity.
Oh, you know what? This is good. I'm still here.
Okay.
Give me a few seconds.
Oh, yeah, you go ahead. I'll just read a little bit of the chat here and see who is, if you're signing in and viewing us here on YouTube, please say hello. Let us know you're here. We'll get started with cooking and conversation in a couple of minutes. And of course, we'll be happy to entertain any of your questions. So hello, Mary Good. Let's see, mute volume is going to be the third one from the left. Okay. I'm guessing they didn't hear any of the interview bit. So my apologies for that, people. I'm a techno peasant. Those who know me well will testify to the fact that it's amazing that I am on Zoom at all, let alone, masquerading as a host of such an event. So, so it is good to have all of you with us. And stay tuned. Chat. Let's see. For somebody out there, are you guys able to hear? Yes, no, yes, no, maybe so. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Nancy. Good to see you signed in. And Michael Kennedy, oh dear, watching from North Carolina. Welcome, welcome. We have Burton, hello Burton, and Mary Good. Hope everybody had a decent go of this day. And cooked a single thing, but the kitchen is already a mess. Steve and Karen, welcome. Let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning. Let's see. John Witchy, kick it up a notch. Well, let us see inside your refrigerator. It's a pretty sad state. It's empty because I'm generally here about 2 or 3 days at a time. So perhaps on the next episode, I will gladly display the the refrigerator. Let's see. Reggie has entered the waiting room. Why are you there?
So in my haste of like, let me close out things so I'm not messing stuff up, I literally just logged myself off of
Okay.
Can you still hear me?
I can hear now.
Okay, let me get my life together here and put my phone on airplane mode so my battery doesn't go dead.
Right. By the way, I have to comment on Michael and Wilson Kennedy's keen sense of observation. A few weeks ago in worship, we had a closing hymn that came from the United Methodist Church. And the Glory to God hymnals that we have at
First Presbyterian
are very similar in color to the Methodist Church. And so there I was singing with a Methodist hymnal with my hand covering most of the most of the cross and flame. And Wilson Kennedy sends me a text message saying, "Is that a Methodist hymnal you're singing?"
Guilty.
And we're all like, yeah, it would be you, Wilson, to call that out. So, welcome to Culinary Arts. Because I am the world's worst person with technology, I'm gonna ask you, Reggie, a question that you answered on an interview a couple months ago. And the question is, of course, you are an opera singer, and we'll get to all of that jazz later on. But do you think that opera is important?
Oh my goodness. Give me one quick second to get my light together, and then I'll answer your question.
Okay. Yes, audio does not work with
Because, you know, here in Houston, the sun is just starting to go down.
Right.
And so I want to make sure that everyone can see my wonderful and beautiful dark skin.
How blessed are we?
Oh, yes. How blessed we are. Oh, why is this not working? Well, tartar sauce. Well, hi, everyone. It's just kind of blinking, but oh, there we are. Aha.
Let's get the temperature right there.
There we go. Oh, look, there I am. Oh, there we go.
Well, I probably invest in one of those. I look like, Shadow or something.
Well, it was not by choice, but kind of by necessity.
Right.
Much like opera. a necessity. To get back to your question. So I'm Reginald Smith Jr. or Reggie Smith or Reggie or that guy. The question was, do I think that opera, do you say opera is a necessity or?
Sure.
Yeah, so as I said in the previous interview, I do believe that the arts in general are a necessity, whether it be the arts at church or school or in the local community or just sitting at home listening to music or watching something on TV. The arts give us a way of seeing a reflection of ourselves through other people and through other situations in ways that we probably wouldn't see ourselves. But also it gives us an escape into other worlds, or sometimes it's just giving us a place to relax. I mean, the thing that's so extraordinary about music is that it reaches you in a place that's not tangible, not a way that you can really describe with words, whether it's going to the opera or going to the symphony or going to your favorite rock concert or listening to hymns in church. You know, I have several friends that are not very, I guess you would say, religious, but yet songs like Amazing Grace still touch them in a beautiful and meaningful way. Yep. And I think that ultimately speaks to the power of music and the arts in general. And so, especially during this pandemic, I think many of us have found that the arts have been incredibly necessary, whether it's watching concerts on TV or putting on that favorite Disney movie so your child doesn't drive you crazy for at least an hour, or when you're worried about what's going on in our country and the state of things, you can sit and read a beautiful piece of literature that's comforting and reassuring, or just get up and dance and sort of shake it out. So I think the arts in this country, but certainly in the world, should be placed in a higher regard. And I think it's a necessity for all people. And I am fortunate and I'm blessed that I get to make my vocation in such an amazing and extraordinary field that we are blessed with. Does that answer your question?
I think it does.
Let the church say amen. Oh, wait a minute. We ain't cooked nothing.
Right. For those of you especially who are at First Pres or any other place that I do or have conducted, Reggie is one of 2 or 3 people that I went to college with who I will never invite to conduct my choir, because he'll just snatch that thing right away from me.
No! I could conduct your choir because they'd say, what is he doing? Up here flailing and just giving mean faces.
No. So, welcome again to First Pres. It's good to have you here virtually, such as life is these days, and of course we look forward to that time that we can gather for an evening of music, and you will be with us to sing in person. So I already got a couple of text messages today asking if we were going to sing while we cooked, and
hello.
I'm looking for those deposits into the Venmo so we can start.
Okay, check the interview. They said, "Is the outcome income?"
Well,
bills must be paid. I'm just messing with.
Let's actually get down to some cooking. We're doing, hello, June and Anton. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube and you have questions that you'd like to ask, I know that this link was shared in the Richmond, Virginia Classical Singers Forum and a couple of other places. If there are questions that you have, about, it could be cooking, it could be arts or the music industry, just feel free to drop them in the chat, and we will get to them in the midst of the cooking. Now,
that's right.
We are doing Alfredo sauce and blackened chicken. And
yes.
I've already prepared my blackened chicken mix, but did you already do yours?
Of course not. But that makes for an exciting time.
Indeed.
So I like making, well, I guess we'll start with our rub here, right? So I like making blackened chicken or just giving things a little extra spice, sometimes more than salt and pepper. Mm-hmm. And so this is a fun way. So I've sort of arranged these in order of how much you put in there. So first we'll start with paprika or paprika. So this is 3 tablespoons. Onion powder, 2 teaspoons. Salt, 1.5 teaspoons. And then we get all the 1 teaspoons. Garlic powder, 1 teaspoon. Thyme, 1 teaspoon. Oregano, 1 teaspoon. And it says 1/2 teaspoon for cayenne, but I like mine a little spicy. So I do a good 1 of those as well. So I'm going to swivel you all this way so you can see. Ooh, hello. This little thing had a mind of its own for a second. Get back here. So I'm just going to take the top off of this and give us a good, oh, hello. Well, that's about another 1, 2. Hope nobody saw me just spill paprika everywhere. And there's 3. So we get that. Then we switch from tablespoon to our teaspoons.
That's an important swap.
That is an important swap. You gotta know. Or you'll get some mighty spicy rub, which isn't the worst thing. And there's 1 of that. Then there's another. This is 2. So I started with paprika, 3 tablespoons. This is 2 teaspoons of onion powder, in case you were keeping up.
Okay.
Then we have 1.5 teaspoons of sea salt in particular, but it could be any sort of salt. And I'm just going to grind this out into what I think is about 1.5 teaspoons.
That's actually 1 ingredient I forgot to put in mine.
Some salt.
Yep.
So that's about 1.5 of that. There we go. Actually, you know what I forgot? I think I forgot to put black pepper in mine, but I'll get some of that. Now we get to 1 thing, garlic powder. Get our 1 teaspoon. Garlic powder. 1 teaspoon of thyme.
Ooh, these spices will get you.
Oh, gotta watch it. Maybe the youth will understand that reference.
I know I sure didn't.
Oh, it's Cardi B.
Oh.
One of my favorite music ministers. This is 1 teaspoon of oregano.
I'm afraid.
Oh goodness. What a wonderful champion for the arts.
Wow.
And another teaspoon of cayenne, and then I'm gonna run and get some black pepper and do a good teaspoon of that. Give me 1 second.
Yep. Let's see. We have friends.
Oh, Cardi B.
Oh, yes.
What a wonderful champion for the arts. And then I'm gonna add in my 1 teaspoon. So before you mix up your rub, it should kind of look like this.
Mm-hmm.
Tilt this down a little bit. You see?
There we go.
So we got all of our spices in there. Our paprika, our onion powder, our sea salt, our garlic powder, thyme, oregano, cayenne, and black pepper. And then you simply just take a nice little fork, or you can do it with your hand, and you just mix it all together. Mm-hmm. Now, what are you doing for your chicken?
I'm using breast. Now, when you say what am I doing for, what exactly are you after?
So, when we talked about it earlier, sorry, I'm almost done. mixing this up. The other thing I'll say about this rub is if you don't use all of it while you're cooking now, which is totally fine, of course you can always save it and put it on something else like salmon or lamb or beef or whatever you want. So there we go. We got our nice little mix up there. Here's how that looks. Now, when we talked earlier, you know, I told you I cut the chicken in chunks ahead of time.
Ah, yes.
And then I usually pan fry, but we talked about doing it in the oven. So I have my cooking pan here, but I wanted to know if you've turned your oven on already, one, so I can turn on my oven.
Actually,
and
so here's the deal. I forgot about putting it in the oven. Let's just do it however you normally do.
Ain't you something? How are you planning to prepare your chicken?
I didn't have I've never made blackened chicken before, so I'm gonna do what you do. So if I need to turn the oven on, I could do that now. But
no. Actually, I find it a little more exciting and more fun to just do it over the stove in a little olive oil.
Okay.
So now that I'm just gonna toss my seasonings over here in the corner. So I have a thin cut chicken breast.
Okay.
Basically, you can take your regular chicken breast and just cut them in half.
Okay.
And of course, I do that because it's one, I can kind of get more bang for my buck in my mind at least, but it cooks more evenly and it cooks faster.
Right. Well, behold, I will go from one chicken breast to two.
And so here I am. I have some little thin sliced chicken breast here. Forgive my poor angle. I'll try to get a little closer for you. And I'm just gonna do a couple of them for now. You know, I got my little cooking. I started to say cooking pad. Lord have mercy. You know, my little board here.
Cutting board.
And how many of these do I have? I'll do 3 of these for now. I'll just kind of lay these out. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take this rub that we just had and just kind of sprinkle across the top.
Let me try.
Just kind of evenly sort of coat it. You know, you can do a little zigzag if you want to get fancy. And while we're doing that, and you do the same thing on both sides. Now, I'm not trying to get my fingers dirty so I cross-contaminate.
Right.
So since I've just used rub and the fork, usually I would do it with my fingertips.
Right.
But I'm going to take the fork and just kind of, you know, smear it across a little bit, you know, a little something like that, you know. There's enough rub that, child, if you don't get it across, just add some more to it.
Okay.
And then this way, so I can put this back over here. Let me give a little more. See, I like to make sure that my chicken looks well loved. I need it to be covered like it has on the full armor of seasoning.
See, that'll preach right there.
I don't know where you'll end up after that preaching, but it will preach.
I see at least one of our preachers in the in the chat room. Hello, Janet.
Well, praise the Lord to you too, Janet.
Now, you may remember Jeff Jones. He was at the Presbyterian Church in Danville, Kentucky when we were there.
Oh.
And he used to play for the Kentucky Bach Choir and all that. He's on tonight, and he'll actually be on an episode, I think, sometime in the next month.
Wonderful.
So
now, so I'm just going to finish this, with a little season. I'm just going to do the 3 of these right here for now.
I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm in this house alone.
You what?
But I don't know why I'm doing 4 of these. I'm here alone.
Well, there's nothing wrong with making sure your pasta has enough chicken.
Well, there is that.
And so, I have 6 of these little boneless slices. So, but then again, there's 2 of us here, so it's fine. Now, what I'm going to do, we're going to go on a field trip. Oh, wait. I got to unplug myself, unfortunately. Field trip.
Janet, I have to be careful with my sprinkling because I didn't make as generous a batch of the seasoning as Reggie did.
Wake up. Come on, thing. Oh, 5. It wants to be finicky. But, so here's my pan. And I'm just going to take a little bit of olive oil, not too much, because it's already a thin slice, first off. And I don't want to drown my chicken.
Right.
So I just do just about that much. Well, maybe a smattering more. So,
thanks for the technical term.
Huh?
But thanks for the technical term.
Yes, a smattering. Which, of course, you could use olive oil, you could use vegetable oil, canola, grapeseed, whichever, whatever you have at home.
Right.
You can use almond, whatever. It all fries the same. Not true, but still. You get the point. So, yeah, you see, it's just lightly coated. And I'm going to put this on a medium-high heat for now just to kind of get this thing a sizzling. And once the pan gets hot, then I'm just going to add my chicken in. Now, while I'm over here, Maestro Brown, if you're ready for this step, have you started on your pasta?
I actually have not. And I'm wondering whether we should have held off on the chicken until, like, the pasta was going.
Well, I still ain't put it in.
Yeah, but your oil is already on.
I can turn it off.
Okay, yeah. Turn that off, because we want to try to get things all done at the same time.
Truth.
So,
well, I'm going to put some water in my pot.
Okay.
And you tell me about your cooking. What you got going on?
Well, I'm doing the Pasta Alfredo sauce. Just so everybody knows out there how this is working. I have a thing that I was like, oh, let's do this, and Reggie said, oh, let's also do this. So I'm learning how to cook blackened chicken for the first time on the World Wide Web, and Reggie is gonna do my version of Alfredo sauce, which we'll see how that goes. So use your pasta of choice.
Uh-huh.
This evening I am doing spaghetti because that's what's in the cupboard.
I have, as you can see, well, probably can't see, I'm literally reaching into the cupboard. And I'm like, what do I have in my cupboard? Do I want to use linguine or do I want to use fettuccine?
Personally, my preference would always be fettuccine for this.
You're right.
Linguine is perfectly fine. This is America. You can make those choices.
No. Now, when you're doing your really thing, now it's like blinking. You see that?
Yeah, I see it.
Technology, I tell you, it ain't worth nothing. I'm gonna get a refund. When you're doing your water for your pasta, do you do anything particular? Like I only add salt, or I add olive oil, or I add, a prayer. Or I don't know. What do you do?
I just do salt personally. There are some people who like to throw olive oil, or but I mean, if you wait until the water is actually boiling, it doesn't need it.
Okay.
You know, if you wait till the water is boiling before you put the pasta in.
Well, let me get my salt, and I'm gonna crack some of that over in here. Crack, 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 crack. So while we're waiting for our water to heat up, and what I'll do with the rest of my chicken is when I put it in the pan, I'll add the other.
Now,
I'll start seasoning the others. So
Did you
while we have a quick little second, you want to talk about how we sort of first met or our backgrounds?
Oh, I'm gonna get to all of your stories.
Oh, Jesus.
All the dope we smoked in college.
Hopefully
kidding.
not all of them.
Not all of it. But
because if you get to all my stories, I'm gonna get to all of your stories.
It's all the truth. It's all the truth.
Oh, heavens to Betsy, I tell you.
Now, did you already grate your cheese? Is that
no? But if I must, I shall. Yes. Actually, that's a good step while we sort of wait. Let me I'll just get a little bowl.
So, Reggie and I met when we were both undergraduates at the University of Kentucky. Fun fact, Reggie is actually smarter than I am.
What?
I said, you're actually smarter than I am.
How so?
Because while I was struggling through my voice performance degree, you were working on a degree in performance and another one in education, which made you a man with options by the time you graduated.
It just meant I had way too many credits by the time I graduated. So, for the sake of telling what kind of cheese I have, I just have some Parmigiano Reggiano.
Oh, really?
Yeah, try something I picked up at Kroger. But it sounds nice and fancy.
It does.
So I got my, ooh, that smells good. This is going to be good. You know what? Let me, a little snick snack. Ain't nobody else here.
Well, since you did a plug for Kroger, what brand of cheese did you get?
Golly, I don't know these people.
Okay.
Cheap. Cheap, but quasi bougie.
Okay. I personally tend to favor the private selection if I go to Kroger for this cheese.
Why is this thing not working?
So we have Parmesan cheese. The thing about your Alfredo sauce is that you want 1 part cream to 1 part cheese.
Yeah.
If you do 1
so
cup,
I'm grating my cheese now.
Oh, mercy. You know, I remember the days of those graders before Amazon came and dropped this little thing off to me.
Well, not like I sit around grating cheese all day, so.
Well, that makes one of us.
Look, I told you, if it were up to me, I would have bought the cheese that was already grated.
Oh, I know, but
since you decided you was gonna, try to one up somebody, I said I better go and get me a block of cheese.
Well, it makes a difference. That's all I can say. Let's see here. I saw that.
It only makes a difference in how hard I have to work. No, it does. Because this smells delicious already. It's fresh and it's fragrant.
Janet. We have somebody watching Reggie who can't figure out how to get in the chat. And so they sent a text message to somebody else to let us know that they're enjoying what they're seeing on screen.
Wonderful. Thank y'all. So, this cheese is good.
Isn't it though?
Okay. Okay.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So you say that when you're making the sauce, you want how much cheese to how much cream?
1 part to 1 part. So if you have 1 cup of cream, that should feed maybe 2 or 3 people. You want 1 cup of cheese to that.
Okay.
Now, yeah, so I started to tell the story of how we met, and you might remember it differently than I did. But I think my first one-on-one for real interaction with you was when we were preparing to sing the Mozart Requiem.
Go on.
With the University of Kentucky Symphony Orchestra. And we actually shared a dressing room, and all the shenanigans that one chance encounter have led to.
What's funny is I remember you did the Altec competition, correct?
I did.
As a transfer student, and you sang Sound an Alarm, if I remember correctly. Is that right?
That's right.
Come on, brain. I can remember some stuff.
Well,
then I remember you came to Kentucky, and you were in the studio, and I was like, okay, who's this guy? And you get up, and you're like, hi, I'm Jason Brown. And I was like, okay, another bass baritone. And then you say, praise the Lord, let the people read. And I said, who is this? He think he all that. And then we had theory class together with a certain professor that we both know.
That's not.
And so I thought, okay, well, he's in the back there. And the professor made some errors on the board, and Jason was like, well, I remember. That's a theory. And I was like, who is this? He ain't nothing. But that's what I remember, like, when you first got to Kentucky, I was like, he ain't nothing. Little did I know. This man is all that and a bag of chips. And we're all so fortunate to know you.
Well, thank you, Reginald. Your check is in the mail.
It better be. Oh, my water is starting to get a little bubble to it.
Good.
But I so many fond memories of shows and performances and choirs and tours. And yeah, I mean, the thing that's so amazing is you never know when you meet people, the sort of lasting effect that they have on your life.
Yep.
Whether it be a childhood friend or, just somebody you met walking down the street, or, you never know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to go back through and think of how I met certain people or how I connected with some folks.
Yeah.
So one of my friends that I'm very close with, I realized we met because they were dating someone that I was, close friends with at the time. Or not close friends with, but just kind of acquaintances.
Uh-huh.
And so they were dating someone that I was singing with. And I thought, wow, this person's pretty funny. And they broke up. But somehow we still stayed friends on Facebook. And now,
there you have it.
We met through someone else. And it's just kind of funny how things work out. My water is bubbling. So I'm going to put my pasta in. And then I'm going to turn my pan back on, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Thank you. So regale the people with one of your, because I'm sure the people there don't know as much about your performance career as much as they do about your wonderful scholarship in church music.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say I actually had a performance career. I often joke.
Performance opportunities.
I'm a has-been who became a was before I ever actually was and is. So, but
you are ridiculous.
I would really say that the majority of my performing opportunities were in the areas of church work, major church work and concerts. Because for as much as I love opera, um, getting my pasta in, for as much as I love opera, there had always been in me more of a pull towards sacred music. And I mean, you talk about not knowing the direction in which your relationship with people or the trajectory of people's lives might go. One of my formative moments as I was developing through college was actually Reggie and I lived across the hall from each other in an apartment complex. And we would often cook and have each other over for dinner. And I remember one night we were sitting and just talking. And Reggie said to me, I need to do a quick recital so I could make some money to pay my rent. And I was like, well, what? You may not even remember this.
No, but that definitely sounds like something I would say.
So Reggie said, well, I took my rent money and I bought an airline ticket to go do this competition. And I mean, if I win, I'll be all right. But just in case, I need to do this recital so I can pay my rent.
That's amazing.
And that right there exposed me to two facts. Number one, this fool is going to make it. But number two was, I ain't going to make it.
Hilarious. I will say I've been incredibly blessed and fortunate, but I am also very much I'm hard-headed at times and incredibly determined.
Yeah.
For better or worse. And it's part of what you need in order to make it in the arts in general. I mean, you have to have that drive that says, no matter what, I'm going to go for it.
Yep.
And, that's something that you definitely have and can say about yourself. I mean, you've had quite the journey in your travel, in your experience to where you are now.
Amen.
And so it's, it's very, very cool to see that you're in Richmond and things are going well. And hopefully one of these days I'll be able to come down and sing at church and maybe we'll do Elijah or something.
Well, get your vaccine and we will make it so. We have a question here from Janet. Janet is one of our associate pastors, and her question is, what is your favorite thing to sing while cooking?
Me? So, fortunately, well, see, I keep having technology problems. I actually love to listen to music while I'm cooking. And usually I would have Alexa going in the background.
Uh-huh.
And it really depends on how I'm feeling that day. That's kind of how I am in general. Oh, I forgot to turn my stove back on for my chicken. Let me turn it on. People will ask me, what's your favorite song? Or what's your favorite this? And I don't really have favorites. It's kind of how I'm feeling. So the other day, I was listening to the soundtrack of Hello, Dolly.
Okay.
Before that, I was listening to the Mozart Requiem. Before that, I was listening to Lizzo. And I was listening to Aretha Franklin.
Were you listening to the UK Symphony recording of the Mozart Requiem?
I'm sorry, what?
Or perhaps the Maysville chorus recording? That was a funny day.
It was so hot. So speaking of the Mozart Requiem that I listened to the other day while I was cooking, so that's one of the things to answer your question. Jason and I did the Mozart Requiem in wonderful Maysville, Kentucky, and I love the people there, and shout out to Bedouin and Randall and all the Clark family. But the church where we did the Mozart Requiem, it was the summertime, and the heat, the AC had gone out.
Yep.
And you had the entire symphony all the people in the chorus and all the soloists, and there was no air.
And a packed sanctuary.
Completely packed. And we're in tuxedos, and it was about 95 degrees inside the church. You know, it was miserable. I had a little hanky that I was sweating so much that I could like wring it out. It was nasty. It was just awful. But we were singing.
My favorite detail of the day is that I was the tenor soloist, and the printed program listed me as James Brown. I still have it. I was so tempted to interpret the Mozart as James might.
Get up, get on up, get up, get on up, get on the scene now. Ooh, that's good cooking music right there.
It sure is.
Like a praise machine.
There you go.
Holy.
There you go.
Terrible. Get on the scene like a praise machine.
Thanks for rescuing that reference.
You're welcome. This is a church broadcast, after all.
Indeed, it is. It is. How's your pasta?
Oh, it's coming right on along.
Now,
turn this down a little bit.
I'm about to strain mine.
You like yours a little more al dente than me.
Well, mine is, I have fine spaghetti. You're doing...
oh, well, that's true. I like mine a little more southern dente. I want mine to taste cooked.
This step of the process might be a little bit different to some people who already do cook Alfredo sauce from scratch. And I'm sorry that we're going back and forth between things, but the goal is to finish everything close to the same time.
Correct.
And it's this. I am going to save just a little bit of the starchy water from the pasta. Set that aside.
There we go. Now we got that good sizzle. Hear that? Boop.
Now, how high do you have the heat under your chicken there?
Just a good medium high. I mean, I want it to, because it's thin, it's going to cook very quickly anyway. Yeah. But it'll only take about 2 or 3 minutes per side because it's thin slice and because the heat is already kind of high. So I don't want to overdo it, you know? Now I have my noodles. I have my chicken going. And while this is going, I'm about to, this is my Atlanta coming out. I'm going to season the rest of this chicken.
Okay.
That way, when this comes out, I can just go bloop, and put it right in. Okay. And when I finish that, these noodles ought to be ready to come off.
All right. So what?
Or do we have any other questions on the floor while we're in the midst of cooking?
Well, nothing in the chat just yet. But I am curious. What would you say was probably the most consequential experience that you had as a developing musician?
In which ways do you mean?
Kind of a turning point moment in your career aspirations or opportunities.
So it's interesting you say that because as you mentioned earlier, this should have been cut better than that. Anyway, I'll handle that in just a second. We're going to turn this down. Let's just turn that off. So my goal, I always love singing. I've been singing my entire life, but as you know, I really wanted to be an educator.
Yeah,
that was the goal. You know, I wanted to be the best high school choir teacher. My choir was going to sing everywhere. We were going to be at ACDA, and so I wanted to go to
come conduct my choir.
Huh?
I said that's why you're not getting to come conduct my choir.
So I wanted to go to a university where I could be involved in a spectacular voice program and work with a really great teacher. But I also wanted to go to a place where I had a really spectacular choral music experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what led me to the University of Kentucky. But with that, there were so many times where I felt conflicted. You know, I love teaching, I want to teach, but I also want to sing. How do I sort of focus on both? What do I do? And I went and worked with a teacher during spring break one year. I think it was my sophomore year, I believe. And you know, it was a friend of someone, and they said you should work with this singer. And I went in, and they said, you know, you sing well, but you just seem conflicted. And I'm like, huh? They said, I can tell by the way you sing that you're not giving it all of who you are. They said there's a lot of character, there's a lot of emotion in there, but for whatever reason, you're sort of hiding it. It seems like you're trying to decide whether you want to be a singer or not. And I'm sitting there like, Lord, is this you?
Right.
And the person said, I don't know what you are conflicted about, but they said, once you make a choice, whatever it is,
Yeah.
you'll be successful.
Okay.
And they said, you have to be the one to make the choice. And so it was really then that I thought, you know what? The opportunity to perform, that window of opportunity is only open for so long.
Yeah.
It's a limited time offer, right? And so if you miss it, who knows if that window is going to open up again. Now, teaching is an absolutely fantastic profession, and I've never thought of education as a fallback. Again, that's always what I really wanted to do.
Right.
But I knew that if I wanted to get a certification somewhere teaching, I could always do that. You know, I could find a teaching job, right? And so I told myself, ooh, this chicken is really sizzling. I told myself that while I have been gifted with the voice to sing and the opportunity to really give it a go, it would be foolish. I don't know if you can hear me over this sizzling chicken. That looks delicious. But it would be foolish of me not to take advantage of the opportunity or to give it a shot. And so that's when I decided that I was going to really focus on vocal performance.
Yeah.
And still give emphasis and do a lot of work into music education, but really, really practice, really coach, really try to figure out these languages and these people. And that was a big turning point in me deciding what I wanted to do.
Right. Okay.
Of course, I've had other wonderful experiences like winning the Metropolitan Opera and joining the studio at Houston Grand Opera, meeting and working with so many fantastic singers. But that was the decision. That was the deciding point for me. Okay, if I want to do this, if I'm really going to go for it, this is the time to really give it a shot.
Yeah.
And so, there you have.
Yeah.
Bingo pongo. As Maestro Luisotti likes to say, bingo pongo. I don't know why. Instead of just like 1 and 2 and 3, he goes bingo, bingo pongo. You know, people in this business are weird.
We all have our.
Of course, I always love the people that say, let's go back to letter P as in pineapple, or all of these things where they're giving out letter numbers. What would you say would be a definitive moment for you? Because again, as you mentioned, you went to school for vocal performance.
Yeah.
Even though you always had that love and drive for sacred music, what was the thing that led you to go from performing to choral conducting?
Well,
you can give that a go while I drain this pasta
Okay.
and let my chicken sizzle a little bit.
You know, the turning point for me happened in my second year at UK. I was a staff singer at the First Presbyterian Church of Lexington, Kentucky, and we were preparing to do parts 2 and 3 of Handel's Messiah. Shout out to Marlon Hurst. And I remember Marlon asking me to prepare to run a sectional rehearsal with the men as we were preparing to do it. And I so enjoyed the process of studying the score and singing through the lines and anticipating. Did you save some of that water, Reggie?
Of course I did.
Oh, good.
I remember you talking about saving some of the water.
There you go. Anticipating some of the mistakes that the choristers might make as we work towards preparing it. And I thought about it against how much I enjoyed the spectacle of being on stage and the rehearsal process and working with, colleagues or a conductor that may or may not have known the score as well as they should. And
well, Lord.
Yeah. But I found so much more joy preparing to run a rehearsal. But more than that, the aha moment in the rehearsal room when the choir finally gets that run, or lands on that cadence together, blessed be. So that really sealed the deal for me. And once that happened, of course, I stayed engaged in singing concert works and so on. But my real passion kind of shifted from then to full on conducting and church work.
No, it's funny. I mean, you never know these experiences that you have that can sometimes kind of change the trajectory of your entire realizations, if you will.
Yeah.
Are you done with your chicken?
I am done with it, and I'm not going to do any more because, at least until we get off air.
Yeah. So just to give people a little, this is what my chicken looks like now. And I'm going to let it rest a little bit. See, look at that juice. That's how you know your chicken's good, when it's juicy. But don't nobody want dry chicken. Amen?
Amen.
Now, what I'm going to do when we get started, like what I usually do, is I'm going to take this same pan. I don't know if that's what you were planning, but I'm going to do my Alfredo in this pan.
Sure.
Because I already got the little goodness already in the pan and the seasoning. And there's already a little olive oil, so I can just add a little butter to that.
All right.
That way I'm already using some of the seasoning that's there anyway.
There you go.
And I don't have to make another, I don't have to clean another dish.
Priorities.
That's it.
Yes, Mary Kay. Miles is trying to get through here. I don't know if Angela is watching, but this is one of this Alfredo sauce is one of her favorite things. Do from time to time. So
I'll do this.
Let me know when you're ready to roll on this Alfredo sauce.
I'm almost there. I'm just waiting on this. That's a better view. I'm sorry, my light was working at the beginning and then it just kind of went kaput. Oh, Jesus.
Are you okay?
Creeping around. Huh?
Are you all right? You look like you were about to have a heart attack.
Somebody just showed up creeping around the corner.
I see.
Come on, creeper.
Hey, Maestro.
Hello, Maestro. And so look at that. Now see, again, if your food don't look like you ain't doing it right. Look at that. Just it got the sizzling.
Well, I feel like I need to apologize to the folks who are watching. I mean, we had planned on 1 hour, but you know, we'll be
Well, it won't be but like another 15 minutes of cooking.
fine. You know, this is how the Holy Spirit moves.
It's fine. I mean, everybody's sitting at home for the pandemic. Where y'all going? And put your mask on in your house. No, I'm just kidding. You ain't got to do that. But you better sit at home.
Let's see. I have a question here from Janet. Could you give some advice to beginner opera fans? Top 3 operas I should listen to. Now, before you respond to that, Reggie, I have to warn Janet here. Reggie is a repository of the opera repertoire.
Oh.
So, I mean, he could tell you all of the characters, the plots, but anyway, what are some tips for beginning opera fans and a couple of starters?
You know, what I usually ask people to start out is I ask them, what type of music do they like to listen to? Mm-hmm. And what type of movies do they like to watch?
Okay.
Do you like drama? Do you like comedy? Do you like rock and roll? Do you like things that are more calm? Do you like things that are super emotional? Because there's all of that in opera.
Yeah.
You just got to find out what you like. For instance, my first opera was Tosca, which is incredibly dramatic. All the main characters died by the end. Spoiler alert. She jumps off the building to her death. Scarpia avanti addio. Done. Yeah. And I saw Tosca and I was like, ooh, dramatic. The next opera I saw was Elixir of Love, which is just so happy and so friendly. It's a great show. But for me, I was like, there's no drama. Why is no one dying? Somebody should be getting stabbed or something. And so I then learned that I tend to be drawn to the things that are very dramatic.
I'm shocked.
What? Me dramatic? So with that in mind, I tend to, okay, now I'm good. I got my pan here. I'm going to turn this down. Let me grab my butter. Mm-hmm. I got my garlic here. Actually, I might as well go ahead and add my garlic. You add your garlic first?
I do add the garlic first. Well, garlic and butter. And are you using salted butter or unsalted?
You know I'm using salted butter.
See, that's that. So throw in a little bit of extra garlic just to keep that blood pressure down.
You better know it. And throw in a little less butter. So I will answer the question. I have not forgotten. I just don't want my pan to burn. So let me see. Here's my.
Let me suggest if you're following along for the sake of the recipe, you want to use maybe about 2 or 3 cloves of garlic. I personally like to get my garlic already minced.
Me too.
Yeah, so just maybe 1 teaspoon of that. And
how much butter do you use?
I personally don't like a whole lot of butter in my Alfredo sauce. Some people for a serving of 2 would use a half of a stick. I wouldn't personally use more than a quarter.
Okay. So for me, to go back to the opera, let me make sure this is on low. I like things like Pagliacci, which we just did with the Atlanta Opera. It's the one with the clowns, right? Right. So with Pagliacci, like with many of these operas in the verismo or sort of realism period, you have a man, the clown, the Pagliacci, who you see that he and his wife are kind of, things aren't going as well as they probably should. And she wants out of it, right? But he's like, I love you regardless. You're going to be my woman or else type of thing. Then we see that she is actually having an affair, in love or with another man. And he comes in and catches her and he says, Il nome, his name. What's his name? And he gets so upset that he like pulls out a knife and he's about to kill her. But then they say, hey, the circus is about to start. We need you to put on your makeup. We need you to do your job. And he sings this song that so many of us can relate to, that I'm heartbroken on the inside, but yet I have to put on this face and be happy for everyone because no one wants to see a sad clown. And so I think the thing that I like about the Verismo operas is that we can more easily see ourselves in everyday situations in them. Of course, you have like La Boheme, right? Boheme is such great music. Traviata is very well. Music.
Rent.
What did you say?
I said Boheme, for people who are into musicals, could pair pretty well with Rent.
Yes, absolutely. And so I think those are, a good place to start. Carmen is great because there's so many tunes that we all know. Mm-hmm. You'd sort of hear that and you go, oh, I know that one. Oh, I know that one too. Oh, I know that one. So I always find that Carmen's a good place to start for people. And if you're really into like crazy rock and roll and whatever, maybe give some Wagner a try. Kill the rabbit, ba 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 da. That's good stuff. Yep. So I've added my butter.
Yep.
I've added my garlic. And then what do you add next, Maestro?
This is what I have so far. Am I actually showing you the pot?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
And see, likewise, mine's a little bit darker, but that's because I have all the bits from the chicken mixed in with the garlic that's kind of browning, we'll say. Kind of burning, but we're going to use the word browning instead.
Well, see, the thing is, and by the way, you want to throw your cream in now. I'm doing 1 cup. That's good for 2 or 3 servings.
Okay. And this is not heavy whipping cream, but just regular whipping cream. Or if you really want to be light and fluffy, you can do half and half, but it don't taste right. No. But that's up to you.
Again, this is America. You can make those choices.
It's the wrong choice, but you can make it.
I see from Kendra here that Virginia Opera did Cinderella last season, and she really enjoyed it.
Another good opera, because you already know the story. Yep. Another opera that I really like, Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, because you're a weirdo. You're watching an opera written by a guy named Humperdinck. I know, because that's a reason to discriminate against an opera.
I mean, hey, let me get my little fancy spatula.
Well, I have my heat on medium low.
Likewise.
I don't want the cream to bubble over. Let's see. We got the garlic. We got the cream. Next is, of course, going to be the cheese.
I'm gonna give a little more cream, just because I want to make sure I have leftovers for lunch tomorrow.
Right. That's the unfortunate thing about Alfredo sauce. It's never as good when you warm it back up.
Yeah. But I'm still going to eat it, so.
And I'm not saying that one should not.
Oh, yes. I will enjoy it just the same.
Yep. So
while this is sort of, show us your pot. Show us what you look like over there.
Oh, well,
yeah. We hear you talking about it, but we don't see you being about it.
Well, there you go. So now I'm just gonna get the egg yolk into a container. You want, for 2 or 3 servings.
You already added your cheese, right?
Not yet, no.
Oh, okay. So you still have cream and garlic and butter.
Yeah.
Now, I've not done this egg separating thing.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give it a try.
All right.
So you take, hold on, let me get my egg. And do I need a water bottle?
I mean, you can go that way if it'll be easier. I'm just going to do the old school shell scoop.
Okay. Let me do old school then. Eating eggshell seeds. Now, how do you do this old school eggshell here?
I'm gonna move you and show you right now.
Okay. Also, let me put my trash can in front of me just in case my eggshell skills are not as great as I think they are.
Now, you want to keep an eye on your cream, make sure it doesn't start to bubble over.
That's right. That's why I keep it on a nice, I turned it down just a little bit, just because, we're taking a little time.
Yeah. All right. Now, most people I know like to crack the eggshell like on the countertop or on the edge of a bowl or something.
Uh-huh.
I like to use a fork.
Okay.
And I'm foreign. I'm allowed to do that.
It's okay. I have a fork.
So
big egg.
One swipe like that, it should go about quarter way through. Then you choose one direction to open it in.
Okay.
And carefully, you just kind of go from side to side. Whoop. Well, my skills are not as good as I thought. Start over.
You can't see it, but I'm doing it.
Okay.
Let me see. I'll do it a little.
Here I am.
I'm doing it a little higher. Let me kind of turn.
Okay.
Okay, so people can see that I'm doing this and not getting egg white all over the floor. Of course, if I were better, I would do this over a bowl or so I could save my egg white. But
right now I'm over the kitchen sink. And boom. After a couple of swishes like that, where you just cut the egg white out, you're left with just the yolk.
Okay.
I've already done.
Okay, now my cream is starting to bubble a little bit. So what do I do with my egg yolk?
Now, get like a tablespoon or any kind of a spoon that you have there in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Just spoon over or pour over a little bit of the water that you saved from the pasta.
Okay, so here's my yolk here. I'm gonna get some of my water and then I'm just mixing it in.
Yep, break the yolk and fold it in. And your goal is to mix it in.
Do that for there. Let me get my, hello, go down, fire. Let me stir this around so my cream doesn't boil. We don't want boiling cream.
You want to mix it in fast enough that it doesn't scramble in there.
Interesting.
And
we don't want it to scramble.
No.
So it should be still lots of yolky.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see what you did.
Well, mine is already mixed in, and I just dumped the cheese in.
Oh, I'm still. You want to put it just right in the middle here.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where in the pot you put it in, but just keep mixing it in. So that
mix it into okay.
Yeah.
And then I'll add my cheese. Okay. Let me do that. Let me grab my cheese. And I'll probably need more of it. So I'll bring this with me. Okay, so back to the stove we go.
Yep.
Here we are, people. And we're just lightly mixing and any other questions we have out there?
Well, let's see. I know that we're probably bleeding a little bit into another J-term class here.
Oh no.
Well, people get to choose.
Ooh, well, and there you have it.
Kendra is reminding us that the next episode of Culinary Arts will be on the 26th of February. No, that can't be right. We have one more this month. We have one in 2 weeks.
Aha. Maybe it's the 26th of January.
Perhaps. I don't have a calendar in front of me right now.
So Jason.
Yes.
Tell the people, how did you get to the point where you cook so much and cook so well?
Well, it really kind of came out of necessity for me. When I lived in New York, and I must have been about 21 or 22.
Side note, you added your cheese already, right?
Yes, throw it in there.
Whoops, okay. Let me go ahead and do that. But yes, out of necessity.
Yeah, I was feeling unwell, headaches and sleepless nights and all of that business. Oh, just throw it in and mix.
Oh, I know. I was trying to make it even.
Don't romance it. Just in there.
Well, and as a matter of fact, let me go ahead and get a little extra in there. But because we like cheese.
Indeed, we do. We do.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little extra cheese. But you were getting headaches. You were in New York. You were cooking for yourself out of necessity.
And so I went to the doctor and came to find out that my blood pressure was elevated to the point that it was causing these headaches and other issues. And so my starting to cook for real was really out of a desire to control what I put into my body. So I mean, of course, we all eat out of necessity.
Right.
But I figured, well, since I have to do this cooking thing, I may as well do it in ways that I enjoy it. And so cooking for me really has become also a form of therapy. At the end of a long, stressful day, there's one or two things that I want to do. I either want to sit at the organ and play a couple of hymns, or get to the kitchen and cook something. So, and I mean, what I'm thankful for in being able to curate this little show here is that there are two things that every culture has: music and food. And especially in the type of difficult days that we're encountering as a society, not just in America, but in a general sense, I think it's nice that we can gather around food and music and the arts. So
absolutely,
that's what brought me.
Turn this thing down.
Yeah. And so what you want to do is just cook this down a little bit until it gets about as thick as you would like it. And then you mix your pasta in. So that once you've added the cheese, it should be maybe about 3 to 5 minutes of cooking.
So you're adding the pasta to the sauce, or are you adding the sauce to your pasta?
I'm adding the pasta to the sauce because my pasta is still in the colander on the stove. I mean,
see, I have my pasta back in the pot.
Well, I mean, tomato.
Yeah.
Tomato is.
But this is fairly, this is a fairly thick,
Yeah.
kind of rich sauce here.
Yeah. And I mean, give it.
Let me see what it tastes like.
Give it a taste and see if you think it needs any more seasoning.
That's good. I'm going to put a little bit of black pepper in there.
I was just about to say that some people like black pepper in their
and 2 or 3 cracks of 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
And some cracked black pepper.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to over pepper it, of course. It's just sort of to taste. So I'm going to give a little, come on, pepper.
Well, I'm so glad
There
that
we
you
go.
were thoughtful enough to get a tripod for your phone so we can get these fancy angles.
Well, for you, my friend, anything. I'm going to turn this off because this is already hot enough.
Right.
And this pan's going to stay hot.
Right.
Now, all we do with our chicken, even though we didn't do it earlier, is all you got to do is cut it into little strips or cubes or whichever way you want. And then you just add it to your pasta as well.
Oh, no. Well, Reggie,
Or add it to your combination, whichever way you want to do it.
Before we sign out, we must plate.
Well, you already at plating, then I'm talking about cutting up this chicken. Let me clean off my cutting board so I can cut this up and then bloop, 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 toss it right on there.
For right now, for the benefit of those who are watching here, I am just getting my pasta all good and coated in the sauce. My father-in-law is an excellent cook, and we trade pictures back and forth of things that we've prepared.
You probably.
Huh?
I was gonna say while we're sort of mixing things in, you could probably put up some of those pictures and share screen.
If Kendra was still on, I would ask her how to do it because
Oh well, never mind.
Let me see if I can figure it out. Because I went to school for music, not for this technology business.
Ain't that the truth?
Says the guy.
So, while you're doing that, it's nothing to it but to do it, eh?
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna take this. You can be all fancy with your chicken cutting if you want to, but
well, no,
that ain't gonna be. That's not me on tonight. So I'm just gonna take this little bit, give me a nice little angle so I can slice into it. And just in case you were wondering, see how that? Let me see. I did that. You cut that just like so. Of course, I'm gonna put a little more pepper in mine because I like peppery, spicy foods.
Well, I need to apologize for the folks who are still signed in. I'm not quite sure how to share my screen. I would have had some candid shots of Reggie in performance for you to see if I were not a complete lie.
Are you doing it on your phone or are you doing it on your computer?
I'm on my computer.
There should be a thing at the bottom that says share screen.
Yeah, but then all of these options come up that confuse me.
So
it's,
Well, what it usually does is it'll go to your desktop. And so whatever's on your desktop will then become on the screen. Which is also the reason why when I do Zoom meetings and things, I don't share my screen because I'm always afraid, not that I have anything, incriminating on my phone, but I'm always afraid that I'm going to be on like YouTube or something.
Right.
And I'm supposed to be pulling up a document and I'm like, oops.
Right. Oh.
So that's that. I'm cutting this little bit of chicken. And then I'm going to just combine these things and then we will plate, as you say.
Well, I am just gonna.
Are there any other questions? Any other things while we're?
Let's see. Let me open
So
up.
Jason and I were in Die Fledermaus by Strauss, which is another great kind of first opera. It's really funny.
It really is.
And the problem is, Jason and I both like to cut up, and so you can't put us on stage together and expect us to be serious. And so,
but it wasn't a serious opera, so it was not a serious opera.
No, but I was watching the video that happens to be on YouTube of a certain singer that we both know. They were singing an Italian art song. Sorry, there we are. You know which singer I'm talking about?
Not yet, but keep going.
They played. I'll give you a big hint. Anyway. They also studied with Dr. McCorvey once upon a lifetime.
Okay, go on.
And they returned, and that's all I'm going to say.
Right.
But there's a video of this young man singing, and in the background, we're sitting on a sort of chair, rotunda type of thing. And at one point, while this person is singing,
I know
you see the both of us. You know exactly what I'm talking about. They caught us on camera as they're singing, and we were like, that ain't it, honey. That ain't it. And it's just like the split second that the camera sort of pans over, but we're both looking at each other like.
Yeah, I think there was a similar moment in the Mozart Requiem in Maysville.
Oh my God. There's the Brahms Requiem. I was singing the solo, and you and Jared and Elliot and Ron, y'all were right behind me. And there was a phrase, I just ran out of breath. And, Brahms has those long phrases, and I was like, oh! And all you see behind the folder is, oh, I have that on my computer.
Oh, dear.
I said, why are they so shady? Just shady.
Well,
I mean, you weren't wrong. I sounded a mess on that one phrase.
Steve Seigel says, I learned I should use more seasoning and cream to keep up with you guys. And I know better than to try to sing and cook.
We keep it spicy around here.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sure you could sing and cook them. Give us a song. What's on your heart?
This, by the way, I've just plated mine. Half of the challenge of plating is the plate that you put the meal on.
Ooh, look at you.
Yeah, I know, right?
See, you put the chicken right on top of the pasta, which is very smart. I'm cutting mine up in the small bits, and then I'm just going to add it all in.
Okay.
And fold it in.
Yeah.
So for the sake of doing that, I'm just going to add in my sauce. Make sure I got that right with that. Yeah, that's it. That did that. Interesting with this egg. I like it.
Yeah, the egg just adds a little bit more richness to it.
Sure. That's me just dumping this in like so. Yours is so pretty. Mine's not going to be pretty. Mine's a school night meal.
You say mine looks good, but you haven't tasted it, so.
Hey, look, that's half the battle, though.
It is. We really.
And then, so I'm here. Well, Jason, I'm glad that you asked me to be a part of this. I feel so honored and fortunate, especially for the inaugural try, the run through.
Yep.
And if nothing else, it gave me something really tasty for dinner. Yeah, and so I just added my sauce to mine. And then I'm just going to slide that chicken in. Oops, one of them got lost.
Well, you better
And
go
then,
find that lost sheep.
what do you say?
You better find that lost sheep.
Don't find my lost sheep. I'm gonna add in that extra juice there. Yeah. Let it bless you. And then I'm just gonna add in a little red pepper flakes because I like it spicy like that. And that's my business. Around here we can do that. Just spice. And that's just the end of that.
All right.
Now, of course, you could also do this with salmon. You can make the same Alfredo sauce.
Yep.
Do a blackened salmon in the oven or stovetop.
Yep.
And just put the salmon right on top. Same thing.
Yep.
So,
Well, I mean, we at this point we're 25 minutes over time, and
it's worth it.
I do want to be. It is worth it. It's not every day that you get to turn on YouTube and look at two opera singers cook.
And jab a jaw.
Well, but before we do get to see your plating and sign off, I just want to get your thought on something, and it is this. I mean, most all Black opera singers and Black classical musicians, I should say, got started at church.
Mm-hmm.
How important do you think the church is going to be, not just the Black church, but the church in general? How important do you think the church is going to be in the life of the creative and performing arts after COVID?
Well, one of the things about growing up in church and growing up in the South in church in particular is that you learn that the church, especially in the Black community, was a place where you came together for support. It's where you came together for reassurance, for hope, and so those things were so very vital and important to me and to my upbringing, religiously, spiritually, as much as culturally. Yeah. And I think as we go through America, the way things are now, we're going to need to lean on each other. Yeah. We're going to need to be there for each other a little more. And some of those things that help us unite and come together are, the arts, the songs, the music. Yeah. They become so very integral to who we are as a people, as a human race. And so as people try to look for answers and look for ways and solutions of how do we move forward? Where do we go from here? Sometimes we reach back into those things that comfort us, like blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Mm-hmm. Or yes, Jesus loves me, for the Bible tells me so. How great thou art, then sings my soul. And so as we reach for those things, it somehow brings us back to where we were raised, and it brings us back to the church and liturgical music. And I think that's going to have a big impact on how we all come back together, find our center, and then eventually find out who we are as a people again. So that's my answer about that.
Okay.
So I got my little, I hope that answers your question.
It does.
So I got my bowl. I think you can kind of see.
Yep.
My bowl, and I'm just going to give a little bit of something to make it seem like I did something to it.
I'm guessing that's more Parmesan.
Just a little bit.
Okay.
And then I'm going to give a little. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to use store-bought parsley, but it'll give the same sort of green effect. And then, boom.
Okay.
That's that.
Well, I mean, we took a lot longer than normal to cook this because of the moral of the story here is stop buying store-bought Alfredo sauce. It's easy.
There you go.
Very nice. Well,
and I'm about to eat this.
I hope you enjoy.
But I think a lot of people have picked up some cooking skills and things at home during this COVID adventure.
Yeah.
we are 2 minutes away from an hour and a half, which I think is a good time of sort of rounding. So again, as I was saying, thank you for having me on today.
Oh, no.
But also thank you and to your church for the you guys do to try to keep people's spirits up and hopes alive and letting people know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. It's a very important thing, and I'm glad that you guys are holding that torch and leading people down that path of hope.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, thank you for contributing with your presence to this light that we try to share.
Straight out of Catfish Row for people that were wondering.
Reggie, tell us what your website is so that folks can follow you.
Sure. I mean, I don't have work coming up, but if you want to look at some old pictures, you can go. You can go to reginaldsmithjr.com. You can find me on Instagram at Reggie Sings. You can find me on Facebook at Reginald Smith Jr., baritone. You can find me on YouTube just by typing in my name and looking at some old videos that I need to take down. And yeah, I don't do Twitter because that's just too messy for me. Yeah. I don't TikTok, but I'm on Instagram all the time. And Facebook all the time. So there have been people that have already messaged on the post that I made for them to tune in, and I've already liked and commented, and they just made posts. So if you're trying to reach me, you can always reach me there. But yeah, just kind of look for me at your local opera company or with your local symphony. I might show up.
Or at the First Presbyterian Church of Richmond.
That's right. That is correct. Well, I think we're at time, my friend.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you. And I'll catch you soon. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
Thank you. I'll call you a little bit after this while I'm eating.
All right.
Bye, y'all.